Hi everyone, welcome back. My name is Stephanie. So I used to be a career coach, and every now and then people still reach out to me asking where can I actually find good jobs right now. And honestly, with all the layoffs happening, looking for a job now feels like searching for a needle in the haystack. People are applying and hearing nothing back. Others go through multiple rounds of interviews only to get ghosted. It's frustrating and it's heartbreaking at the same time. And that's exactly why I built this ultimate job search AI agent. This is what it does exactly. So firstly, it scans the internet daily for job openings based on your resume and experience, and then it analyzes each job description to determine if it's a strong match based on your resume. And then if it's a fit, it automatically creates an optimized resume tailored for the job and also based on your experience, which you can use to apply instantly. And if it's not a fit, it tells you why and also gives you clear recommendations on how you can improve or stand out in the field. So this job search AI agent isn't just for job seekers, it's for career coaches, it's for recruiters who can use it to guide clients faster and smarter. I know that job searching is hard, but with the right tools, the power of AI, it doesn't have to be hopeless. Now, this AI agent does the heavy lifting for you so that you can focus on landing the job you deserve. As usual, I'm going to walk you through exactly how the workflow works, and then I'm going to show you step by step how I built it. I'm also going to drop the link to download the template in the comment section below so that you can go check it out and try it out yourself. Let's get started. So like I mentioned, I'm going to walk you through exactly how this workflow works. So this workflow here starts with a schedule trigger. I said earlier that this workflow runs daily. You can set it to run hourly, weekly, monthly, really depends on the schedule you want. I just think that daily is the best so that you have like the latest jobs that have been posted. And then I created a folder where I called a resume folder, and inside the resume folder, I uploaded a sample resume which I got off the internet. So this is just a sample resume, and basically it looks like this resume is for an entry-level person looking for like human resource roles or sales roles, because that's the type of jobs they've done in the past. And so I have this folder in here which I've called sample resume, and then inside that folder I have the resume in there. So what I do is I extract the content of the resume into a text, and then I run it through this AI agent. So what this AI agent does is it looks at your work experience based on the resume in the folder, and then it comes up with job title recommendations based on the skills you have, and then it crafts a query which would pass on to our next node, which really is searching the web for us. So I'm using Rapid APIs. So Rapid APIs does have lots of APIs for different job search platforms. It also gives you like a free version, so you have like the ability to try out a number of calls every month for free without having to pay. So that's great. So in Rapid API in here, as you can see, I have like different APIs that feed data from like Indeed, LinkedIn, Google, like different platforms. So I'm just leveraging the Rapid API to search for jobs based on, and specifically I'm using this JSearch API, and this JSearch API really is asking for like a query. So that is really what my AI agent is generating for me. Once it determines that based on your resume, maybe you should be going for like, let's say human resource roles, it would generate the query for you. And it would also, based on your resume, also recommend the country you come from. It would also extract that information as well so that we can have like a very good query to pass on to our API. So once that's done, as you can see, I have like a loop here because it would give you a number of job search results based on the query we have. And once that's done, I pass this again through another AI agent, which really extracts the information from the job descriptions, all the job descriptions, and compares it with your resume and provides you with a score. So if the score is higher than a certain number, it will give you a recommendation on whether you should apply for the job or not. And if you should apply for a job, it would go on to generate a resume for you to use to apply for the job. But then if it says no, you shouldn't apply for a job, it's a poor match, then it gives you a reason why you shouldn't apply for the job, and also gives you a recommendation on what you can do to stand out so that you can keep getting a lot more matches. So this is the flow whereby it sort of checks if it says that you should apply for a job, then really what it does is it goes on to like generate the resume for you, and it's generating the resume for you based on your own experience that you've already provided, as well as the job description as well, just to make sure that your resume is optimized so that you stand a higher chance of getting called for an interview. Now, once that is done, it creates the document in Google Drive, and so you can see that I have a sample resume that has been created for me. I do understand that this doesn't have all the bells and whistles. Some people would like to have colors and everything, but this is definitely a place to start, which is why I'm giving the template out so that you can build up on this, convert this into a PDF. And I also do understand that people have like different formats for their resumes, but it gives you the information at least that you need. So all you can do at this point is you can basically just copy the information in the resume and just like paste it in your own resume template. This is good. So this is how, and then I also have like, this is a spreadsheet here. So really, once it finds all the jobs for you, it also populates all the jobs in a spreadsheet so that you can come back later to see which jobs were rejected. So as you can see, all these jobs were not a match. So it doesn't give you recommendations to like apply, but these jobs here were matches. So then it's like, okay, so you can actually apply for this job because you have like relevant experience for this particular job, and it gives you the link to the job and also gives you like some things you can do to stand out as well. So yeah, so this is how the workflow works in a nutshell. Now that I've showed you exactly how it works, I'm going to show you exactly how I built it. So as usual, I'm building this in n8n. So first need to have n8n installed. As I've mentioned before, I'm self-hosting n8n. You can get a cloud version. But yeah, this is how to get started. So first things first, like I mentioned, I'm using a schedule trigger. You can decide to not even have like a schedule trigger. You can decide that this is something you do manually. I just decided to have a schedule trigger. And this schedule can be set for anything. I just set it to run every time at 9 a.m. And so this is a schedule trigger. And then once I have the schedule trigger, the next step for me is to attach this to my Google Drive. So like I mentioned earlier on, I have a Google Drive folder which I created and I called it sample resume. So this is where I'm storing the resume. And this is the sample resume I got off the internet. And it has like the work experience. And you see that when it's sort of like generating the resume for you, it's further on breaks down like something more for you, like in terms of like what you did, because this resume is like basic. So that's the benefit of this AI agent, is the fact that it sort of tries to optimize the resume for you based on the job description. Okay, so this is good. So you need to also create that folder in your Google Drive. And in order to have your folder communicate to n8n, you need to have like your APIs and everything set up in your Google Cloud Console. Let me know if you need a tutorial on how to set up your APIs and everything in your Google Cloud Console. So now that you have that, you're really going for like the download node, and then you need to like select the file, which is the sample resumes file. And then because you're downloading it, you want to output it in a field called data. So if I should execute this, you can see that we have the file downloaded ready for us. So if I should click download, you realize that the file will be downloaded onto my computer. So that is great. That is looking well now. Now the next step is we want to extract. This is now in a PDF format, and the AI agents we have in here, the model in here, will not be able to work on a PDF, which is why we want to extract the PDF to a text so that it can work on it. So we're going to use an extract file node. So come in here and we search for extract file, and then we're going to say extract from PDF. And again, we are just going to go with the data, which was the output name for the file we just downloaded. And that's really all we need to do. We don't need to add anything else. You don't need to add like a password or anything. That's fine. I mean, if you are running this in production, maybe you want to add in additional security measures, but for the purposes of this tutorial, you don't need to do so. Okay, so now that we have our extract from PDF node ready, the next step is where the first part of the entire process happens. So this is where we add in our model. So in here, we just come here and search for AI, and we just select this one and we go for the AI agent in here. And in terms of the source prompt, I'm just going to say define below. And yeah, I'm just executing this one. And in terms of the prompt, I'm going to be using this exact prompt in here. I'm just going to execute this workflow so that it has some input data ready for us in here. Okay, so if I should come back in here and I should activate this workflow now, you'd see that now we have some data in here. So all I want is, think of the prompt or user message as whatever you enter into ChatGPT. Okay, so that's all I'm gonna say. So if I am trying to give ChatGPT like my resume to analyze, I'm just gonna say, I'm just probably gonna attach the resume and I'll say like, here's the resume. So that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm just gonna say, here is the resume, and then I'm just gonna drag this text in here so that it has the data I need. And then in terms of the system message, I'm going for this exact prompt for my system message. And like I mentioned, I'm gonna drop the JSON file in the comment section so that you can go download it as well. And I'm going to attach a model. So you can decide to attach any model you want, but I'm going to go with ChatGPT because I usually use ChatGPT. You can also use Gemini. Like I mentioned, one of these days, I'm going to be trying other models as well. I find that I'm a bit biased to ChatGPT and Gemini. I haven't tried so much to use like other models, but then I think in my next tutorial, I'll probably try using those models to see how they work as well. Okay, so we've connected our OpenAI chat model. Now we have to connect our memory node. So I'm just going to go with this. And in terms of the session key, I'm just going to drag maybe this in here. Again, I would say that if you are doing this in production, make sure that you are defining an appropriate session key. Make sure that you are defining an appropriate session key. And then in terms of the tool, I'm just going to come here and say I'm requiring a specific output. And because I'm requiring a specific output, I just want to make sure that the output sort of follows a specific JSON format. I'm going to click here and select the structured output parser node. And this is exactly what I'm going for, because if I come into JSearch, you can see that it requires, in terms of the parameters it needs, it requires like a query parameter, which is compulsory. The other parameters are not as compulsory, like the country, the language, the date posted. All those ones are not compulsory, but then the query parameter is compulsory. So in my workflow here, I want to make sure that I'm returning this 3 days, because I just want jobs that have been posted for the past 3 days. From home, I'm looking for like a remote job. Employment type is full-time. Country is Canada. So that's what I'm going for. And yeah, at this point, I'm just going to run this so that you have an idea of how this one looks like now. Okay, so we have our query. So it's saying remote human resources job in Omaha and posted 3 days ago, work from home, employment type, full-time, country is the United States. This is good. We are getting somewhere. Okay, so now that we have this, I'm just going to store all the fields we got in a set node, just so it's easier and it's a lot more cleaner. I know that we didn't have like multiple fields come through, but then as best and standard practice, I usually like to have these fields like stored in a set field so that it's a lot more cleaner. And then this is where we leverage our APIs from JSearch. So again, going back into the JSearch API documentation, if you want to search for jobs, you are using this exact curl code. So you come in here and you copy the curl code. You have to first subscribe to be able to test this endpoint. So once you subscribe to this endpoint, you'll be able to like test it out, and you'd have an idea of like what exactly you need to sort of do and all that. So like I mentioned, I've already gone through this API reference documentation, so I'm not going to go through it again. But yeah, all you have to do is you copy the curl code, you come in here, click on import curl, and then you have everything you need. You just have to like populate the data you need from the previous node. So as you can see, we already have our query generated for us. We have the country, we have the date posted, and we have the fact that we want it to be work from home, and we also want like a full-time job. And I also have like the API keys and everything set up in here. Now that you have this ready, as you can see, executing this gave me a number of jobs. So it just says one item, but you can see this data item here, which contains all the jobs. It's an array. So what we want to do is, since this is an array, we want to split it further. Okay, we want to split it before we pass it on to our next step in the process. So in order to split it, I'm just going to be using a split node. So again, you come in here, you click here, you search for split node, and then you select the split node. So I have the split node in here, and in the split node, all what you're trying to do is it's going to ask you what field you want to split out, and all you have to say is I want to split out the data field. So that's all we need to do. And then once the split node is ready, the next step is to include a loop, because now at this point, if I should run this, you'd realize that we would have about 10 items coming out. And so we want to have a loop so that it goes through each item, checks the resume, checks the job description, and then makes a comparison to see whether it's a fit or not. So we want it to be a loop. So we are going to come in here and we're going to select a loop node. And then in that loop node, and we are just going to say we just want one batch size. So as you can see with the loop node, it has two outputs. So it has the done and it has the loop, right? So what we want to do is we want to loop. Once it's looping, go through an AI agent. And I'll explain what this AI agent does in a second. So again, you come in here, select AI agent. And so I have this AI agent here. So it's looping through this AI agent. In terms of the chat model, like I mentioned, I'm already using ChatGPT, so I'm going to stick to that. And then ChatGPT, I usually use 4.0 mini. So I'm going to go into 4.0 mini. And yeah, this is good. Then the next one is the memory. So memory, again, I'm probably going to be using the same type of memory, which is really the creation date I had used, or maybe the job ID, because this time around I have like a job ID. So probably use a job ID for my memory. If I should like sort of execute, let me add in an output parser for now, and then I'll explain what this AI agent node does in a second. So I'm going to add like an output parser in here, just so the JSON is structured in a way that would help me process it easier. So again, like I mentioned, what this node here is doing is it's sort of like comparing the job descriptions against my resume and determining whether it's a good match or not. And if it's a good match, then it's giving a score, and based on that score, it's deciding on whether I should apply for the job or not. So if it's yes, it means that I should go on and apply. If it's a no, it means that I should not apply. So I'm going to come in here. Now that this is ready, what I'm going to do is once this whole process finishes, I want to feed this into a Google Sheet. So I could have said that maybe don't give me all the jobs in the Google Sheet, maybe just only send jobs that are marked as a yes in the Google Sheet. But then I also want some more transparency in the process, because at the end of the day, maybe you may come in here and the AI agent thought you will not be a good fit, but you look at it and you're confident and you're like, okay, maybe there's some context I have that the AI agent doesn't have, so I would want to apply. So this sheet that I'm connecting really would populate all the jobs that the AI agent was able to find off the internet, and as well as all the scores and everything that has been given to it. So that is good. So this is where I am sort of like appending a row in Google Sheets. And so once this row is appended, I just want to go back into the loop node so that the process starts again. So it's going to loop until everything is done. So that's why I have the loop node going back to the input of the loop node. So whenever this is done, go back, start the whole process again. And when this is done, I'm adding like an if else statement. And really what the if else statement is doing is that it's just checking whether it's gonna be true or not, whether it's gonna give a recommendation. So if it gives a recommendation, then it's gonna ask it to do something. If it's no, then it's probably not gonna do anything. But up until now, I haven't run this model. So I just want to run the entire thing so that you have an idea of how this will look like. So I'm just gonna click on execute now. Mind you, it's gonna run it for 10 different items, so this might take a bit of time. But if you are scheduling this to run, by the time you wake up, it's probably already done for you. And you'd see that if I come into my job search sheet here, you'd see that it's sort of like populating it for you, right? It's populating it for you. So it has 60, 45, it's populating them as it runs, right? 60, another 60. So it's gonna populate it for you. And then once it's done, it's gonna move on to the next stage, which is the next branch, which is the if else statement. So we have 2 more items. Okay, so this is fine. So I'm gonna come in here, and should apply is yes. If should apply is yes, then we move on. But as you can see, we don't. Let's come in here into the job search and let's see if we have any should apply in here. So we just have, I think we just have 1 yes. If I should do a filter on here, we just have 1 yes. So if should apply is yes, then we want to do something, or we don't want to do something. Okay, so we have just 1 true. So if this is true, then we want to move on to the next step, right? If it's false, we don't want to do anything. So do nothing. We look for a do nothing node. So it's also called a no up node. We come in here and we say do nothing if it's a no. And then if it's true, then this is where we generate our resume. So again, we are going to be using another AI model to generate the resume. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'll explain exactly what is in this prompt in a second. So let's come in here and then run this. So what's in here is, again, it's providing an appropriate response based on what the input is. So given the job description and also given the current resume, which we already uploaded and extracted the text file from, we're going to rewrite the resume to match a specific templates which I gave. And I do understand that every career coach, every company would have like a different template, but generally I'm just giving like a template format that you can use. So this is what happens. I'm just going to attach the ChatGPT model in here. Come in here, and then again, I like to use 4o mini. Let me know if there are other models you like to use that's not 4o mini. I am always using 4o mini for most of my work. And I do understand that like every use case is different, and for some use cases you may not need 4o mini. Yeah, so come in here, and again, I'm gonna be using the same job ID as my key in here, my key in memory, and then I'm gonna attach this exact structured JSON so that it gives me the exact structure in here. I'm gonna copy this and then paste this in here for you. So this is the structure we want. So we want the rewritten resume in one block, and then we want the title. And the reason why we want the title is because we just want to pass it when we are creating the document. And then once this is done, we are feeding this into a Google document. So I'm gonna come in here, look for a Google Doc file, create a document, and then in here, we're gonna put it in the folder called resume. In order to get a title, we first need to run the entire workflow. And since I already have this created already, so I'm just going to put it in here, because if I had to run the entire workflow, it'll take another 1 minute for it to run. And then I'm going to add an update Google Doc node, and this is where the file is going to be updated. Okay, it's going to be updated with the resume information. When you are trying to create a document in Google Drive, like using n8n, you first need to create a document and then upload a document. Yes, and once this is done, we go back into our Google Sheets, and all we do is we sort of say that this is a job that you should apply for. This is why we think you should apply for it, and this is additional things you can do to step up the game, just like we see here. Okay, so for jobs that are a yes or are a match, we tell you that you should take the certification because it's very useful in the HR space. So that is really it. Okay, I'm gonna run the entire workflow so that you have an idea of how this works. I usually would have to refresh my credentials, so I'm gonna do that. Okay, so I'm gonna run the entire workflow now so that you have an idea of how this workflow works. This is the moment of truth. This is what we've been waiting for. Let's see if this workflow actually walks the talk. I'm gonna run it. I know it looks a lot more crazy in here, but yeah, I'm gonna run this entire workflow so we see. It's cute. Let's see what happens. Okay, so now let's come back into our resume folder. This is the latest one, resume for people operations coordinator. And then let's see. So it gives us the resume, it gives us like the objective, it gives us the professional skills, it gives us the education, gives us your work experience. And like I mentioned, the initial sample resume didn't really have any text under work experience. It just had a title. But in here, the resume goes on to talk about like things you did in there as well, and also gives you some additional stuff and gives you like references, and this is the career recommendations. So it's telling you that you need to get some certifications in HR analytics and also Society for Human Resource Management. If you're a human resource management professional, let me know if these certifications are relevant and if these recommendations are great for this candidate. But that is it for today's tutorial, guys. Let me know in the comment section below if there are any workflows that you'd like me to walk through in a tutorial like this. This actual workflow came from a subscriber, so I appreciate you bringing up that idea. So yeah, let me know what you want me to build next. But that is it for today's tutorial, and see you in the next one.